Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys got here before me. I'm the one that's late today. How are you guys doing? All right, let's see who is here. Xavier is here. I see Italia. All right, not sure who Nikki Holiday is. Is that Nikela? I don't know. How about Susan Curtis? Not sure who that student is. So you guys need to identify yourself so I can know who is here. Hold on. Okay. All right. So Nikela, right? I figured that must have been Nikela. All right. So Susan Curtis, who is that? Who is Susan Curtis? Not sure who that is. So Susan Curtis, that's the username. Who is that? All right. So guys, listen. Where are the your classmates that you told me you're going to invite for today's session? Chanel, welcome. Chanel, who did you invite to today's session? And Nikela, who did you invite? Italia. Xavier. Still not sure who Susan is. Or Susan might not be here anymore. Dwayne, welcome. All right, we're just doing a little roll call before we start getting everybody's making their way here. So, Dwayne, who did you invite today? Remara. All right. Oh, okay. Nikela said she was going to invite her friend. Okay. All right. So Remara. All right. Not sure Remara. All right. Welcome, Remara. Nadisha. That name looks familiar, like I should know who that student is, but I don't remember. Can you remind me who is Nadisha? That name looks so familiar, like I've seen that name before. Who is the student using that account? I don't remember. Janae, welcome. Janae, who did you invite today? You guys not inviting your friends, All you have to do is just click share and just send it to them WhatsApp. And if they click on it and join, that's fine. Danielle. I'm not sure the name. Okay, welcome, Danielle. All right, so, and Nikela is only one friend you have? All right, so remember, guys, I have told you that we're going to be looking at measurement, mostly measurement questions for the mathematics. So I hope you guys are ready to do some perimeter, area, volume, especially the students. We started volume this week. All right, time, converting, metric. I have the questions ready, So you guys need to be ready for that. All right. So as I said, each week we come, we'll try to focus on one area so that you guys can do a little bit of practice, study on one particular area while we do our sessions. All right. So most of the math questions will be from those topics. And depending on how quickly we get through them, then we will see what else or what other topics we can cover in the time that we have left. All right, so remember, those who are joining us today for the first time, remember, for your PEP exams, you no longer do science and social studies. So I have not prepared any science or social studies questions for our question and answer sessions. Okay, we're just going to be looking at the mathematics and the language and a little bit of ability test. Okay. All right. So just to warm us up, and I have been my students, especially my grade 4, and I don't remember if I did this with my grade 5 and grade 6, but I would have asked you guys to practice your multiplication table. So the first question coming right up, just to start us off, is a multiplication question. So, are we ready? Shani, Stewart. I wonder if that's Kiana. Is this Kiana? All right, not sure. All right, good afternoon. All right, so are you ready? The first question, multiplication question, is 5 nines. 5 times 9. Who's going to get this one first? 5 times 9. Oh, yes, it's Kiana. Okay, good. All right, so Dwayne was first with this one. Dwayne said 45. So 5 nines, 45. All right, so you should be quick on that. I'm going to do one more, and then we get into some other questions. One more multiplication. One more. Let's go to 8 sevens. All right, 8 times 7. All right, I see Amanda joining us. So is that Kadia? Welcome. So 8 sevens. I see a whole heap of different answers coming through. 8 sevens, 56. And I think Xavier was first with that one. Welcome. All right. Thank you. So let's go to language arts and then we get back to mathematics. Remember, I said that was just a warm up. So be prepared to answer those questions. Perimeter area. Those are the questions we're going to be looking at today. All right, so here's a language arts question. Which part of speech shows position such as under or between? Which part of speech shows position such as under or between? Raziel has joined us. Welcome, sir. Okay, some people don't know, not typing. All right, so the correct answer, Xavier was first with that one, preposition. All right, so again, the word position is in the word preposition. All right, so that should be easy for you to remember preposition, right? Under, in, on, beside. Okay, so that shows position, one thing in relation to another. All right, let's go to another language arts question. What is the past tense of run? Easy one. What's the past tense of run? And Italia ran away with this one. That is correct. The answer is ran. All right. Let's see if we can do one more language arts and then we get into some mathematics. Language arts. Which part of speech describes a noun? Which part of speech describes a noun? Which part of speech describes a noun? Okay. Brazil, you're first with this one. The correct answer is adjective. Adjective. And before somebody start complaining about the ads, please remember that there are going to be some ads. You just have to skip them or wait until they're through. And then you will be back with us. All right, so ready for the math questions now? Start with an easy one. Listen carefully now. A rectangle, a rectangle has a length of 8 centimeters and a width of 5 centimeters. What is its perimeter? So a rectangle has a length of 8 centimeters and a width of 5 centimeters. What is its perimeter? What's its perimeter? I only see one correct answer so far, no, two correct answers so far. All right, so who was first with this one? Susan. I think Susan said that's Danielle. Is that Danielle? All right, so Danielle was first with that correct answer, 26 centimeters. Please listen carefully before you answer. Listen carefully. All right, now here is a twist. It's still, well, you'll hear the question. All right, but listen carefully to this one. Listen carefully. A square has a perimeter of 24 meters. What is the length of one side? A square has a perimeter of 24 meters. What is the length of one side? Only see two people answer this question so far. You guys are working it out? Or is it that you have an ad showing? I don't know. So let me repeat the question. A square has a perimeter of 24 meters. What is the length of one side? All right, so Janae was first with this one. Congrats, Janae. You were first with this one, 6 meters. So 24 meters is the perimeter. That means 24 meters is the distance around. And since it's a square, we can divide that 24 into 4 parts because each side would have the same length, the same measurement. So the answer 24 divided by 4 is 6. All right, so Nadisha, I don't remember who the student was, but Nadisha, we have, depending on the grade, we have classes, well, for grade 6, we have classes on Mondays and Tuesdays. For grade 5, we have classes on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And grade 4, we have classes on Saturdays. All right, so if you want to join, you guys can WhatsApp or ask your parents to WhatsApp me on 477-4950. And you can WhatsApp me on that, find out the details. For grade 6, it's Mondays and Tuesdays. Mondays we do language arts. On Tuesdays we do mathematics. For grades 5, we do language arts on Wednesdays and mathematics on Thursdays. And then for grade 4 students, we do language arts at 9 o'clock and then mathematics at 10 o'clock. Okay, so you guys can are free to join. Well, there's a few spaces left, especially for the grade 6 class. That one is a little bit almost at capacity. All right, so let's get back to the questions. All right, find the area now. All right, David, long time. Okay, find the area of a rectangle with length 9 centimeters and width 4 centimeters. Find the area of a rectangle with length 9 centimeters and width 4 centimeters. Remember, guys, check Do your calculations. Don't leave anything off. Make sure you are answering correctly all the way through. And Xavier was first with the correct answer, 36 centimeters squared. All right, so remember it needs to have that square on it or else your answer is incomplete. So 36 centimeters squared. All right, so area is length times width. And of course, the answer should be squared. All right, so for those students who were in my mathematics class this week, we started looking at volume. I wonder if you guys remember the formula for volume. So you're going to find the volume of a cuboid. And remember what a cuboid is? Why is it called a cuboid? Find the volume of a cuboid with length 5 centimeters, width 4 centimeters, height 3 centimeters. Let me go again. Find the volume of a cuboid with length 5 centimeters, width 4 centimeters, height 3 centimeters. Oh, Kiana is like, what? All right, so let's see. Okay, 2 people answering that one. I guess the grade 5 and the grade 4 students will not necessarily be familiar with this just yet. And then where are the grade 6 students in the class? All right, so Nikayla, all right, because we didn't do this topic, right? So this was the grade 6 students I did this topic with, right? So the volume would be length times width times height, okay? Length times width times height. So if the length is 5, the width is 4, and the height is 3, we multiply 5 times 4 times 3. 5 times 4 is 20, 20 times 3 is 60. And since we are multiplying 3 units, then the answer is in centimeters cube, okay? So that's the answer. Remember, guys, I have to do sub questions for grade 6, grade 5, grade 4. It's a mixture of students, so I have to make sure I cater to all the grades, okay? So some questions will be for everyone, and then some it might just be the grade 6 students. You never know, maybe grade 4 students know these as well. All right, so here's one about time, and everybody should know about time. So let's see. A class starts at 9:15 a.m. Listen to this one. A class starts at 9:15 a.m. and ends at 10:45. How long is the class? You would multiply, Nikayla. All right, for that one you were asking, would have been multiplication. All right, so get back to this question. A class starts at 9:15 a.m. and ends at 10:45 a.m. How long is the class? Starts at 9:15, ends at 10:45. How long is the class? All right, just waiting for a few more answers, then I tell you who is correct. So the class starts at 9:15 and ends at 10:45. How long is the class? Some people not answering. It seems as if they're not too sure. All right, so from 9:15 to 10:15, that's 1 hour. And then from 10:15 to 10:45, that's another 30 minutes. So the class is 1 hour and 30 minutes, okay? 9:15 to 10:15, 1 hour. And then from 10:15 to 10:45, that's 30 minutes. So the class is 1 hour, 30 minutes, okay? Let's go back to, well, let's try to find an ability test question. Ability test question. All right, so which number is odd? I'm going to read off a list of numbers, right? And you're going to tell me which of them is an odd number. Oh, your friend John, who's your friend? All right, that's what. Welcome, friend. All right, so let's go. Remember, guys, some of you still answering. Remember that if you're just watching this, check to make sure that you're at the very latest, last, right? So just scroll across, move that cursor across so that you're at the end, okay? So Danica, is that the friend? All right, welcome, Danica. So happy you are able to join us. All right, so which number is odd? Here are the numbers: 4, 6, 9, 8. Which number is odd? 4, 6, 9, 8. Which number is odd? What's an odd number? That's the thing. What's an odd number? Somebody say 9 or 8. It can't be 9 or 8, and it has to be one thing. All right, so 9 is the odd number, right? So odd numbers are numbers that are not exactly divisible by 2, right? So when you try to divide them into 2 equal parts, there's going to be one left over, right? One remaining. So the correct answer is 9. 4 is an even number. You can easily divide that into 2 groups. 6 you can divide evenly into 2 groups. 8 you can also divide evenly into 2 groups. 9 you cannot, okay? It will leave a remainder. So 9 is the correct answer. And anybody should have been able to answer that in a grade 4, grade 5, grade 6. You all should be able to answer that one. All right. Here's another easy one. If a pencil, oh, your screen is glitching, or your brain is not braining. Okay, sorry about that, Nikela, the brain not braining. All right. So if if one pencil costs $50, how much do 3 pencils cost? So one pencil costs $50. How much do 3 pencils cost? All right. See, Danica come right in, and she come right in with the correct answer, and she's first. All right, so yes, the correct answer is $150. Okay, $150. All right, let's go back to some language arts questions. Language arts. Identify the verb in this sentence. Identify the verb in this sentence. The boy runs every morning. The boy runs every morning. Identify the verb. I wonder if Raziel is still typing with one hand. Okay, I see quite a number of correct answers. You all know what verbs are. Verbs are action words, right? What somebody or something does. Okay. Let's go to one more language arts question. What figure of speech is this? I'm going to read a sentence here. You're going to tell me, still one hand. Okay, sir. What figure of speech is this? The wind whispered. What figure of speech is this? The wind whispered. What figure of speech? What figure of speech? What figure of speech? Italia, you're in what, grade 5? So maybe you haven't learned about the different parts of speech as yet. Okay. Is it grade 5, Italia? Trying to remember. So many of you at this stage. All right, so personification. Yes, that is the word. Personification. All right, so you're giving human-like attributes, right? To inanimate objects, things that don't have any life. Okay? All right, so one more, and then we go back to some mathematics. And this one now might, let's see who's able to answer this one. What voice is this sentence? Okay, so what I mean by voice, active or passive, all right? So listen carefully to the sentence. You're going to tell me if this is what voice this one is. The cake was eaten by the children. The cake was eaten by the children. What voice is that? Or is it listening to a grade 4 topic? Well, sometimes depending on the school, how they do their curriculum, some things are perhaps not taught as yet. Enthusiasm. What? Enthusiasm? What's that, Brazil? Enthusiasm? What are you talking about? All right, so what voice is this sentence? Tell me now, is it the active or the passive voice? The cake was eaten by the children. I wonder if you just Italia. Italia said greedy. Ooh. Somebody seem to just be guessing right now. All right. So again, Kiana is saying, what are they talking about? I'm lost. All right. So that would be the passive voice. Okay. So when the subject, the student, the children, right? And if it was written where the children would have done the action, and you would have stated the children first, and that would have been in the active voice. All right. So let's go back to mathematics. Mathematics. And some of you guys don't know how to tell time. I realize that some of you don't know anything about time. So we're going to ask another time question. Listen carefully to this one. A movie lasts 1 hour and 50 minutes. That's how long the movie lasts for. All right, I'm going to tell you what time it starts. You're going to tell me what time it ends. Oh, okay. All right. Nikhil, remember the brain, not braining. All right, so the movie lasts for 1 hour and 50 minutes. Okay, I'm going to tell you what time it starts. You're going to tell me what time it should end. So if it lasts for 1 hour 50 minutes, 1 hour 50 minutes, and it starts at 6:15, what time does it end? What time does it end? What time does it end? It lasts for 1 hour and 50 minutes. 1 hour 50, not 1 hour 15. I said 1 hour 50. So 1 hour 50 minutes. It starts at 6:15. What time does it end? Let me see who was first with the correct answer. The correct answer is yes, Razil is actually 8:05, because if it starts at 6:10, then 1 hour would have taken you to 7. Sorry, if it starts at 6:15, 1 hour would have taken you to 7:15, and then another 50 minutes added. Yes. So it's 8:05. Okay. So it started at 6:15. It lasts for 1 hour and 50 minutes. It didn't last for 50 minutes. 1 hour, 50 minutes. The correct answer is 8:05. All right, so let's go with another question. I want you to convert 3 kilograms to grams. Convert 3 kilograms to grams. Convert 3 kilograms to grams. Three kilograms to grams. How many grams do you have in a kilogram? So if you have 3 kilograms, how many grams? Let's see who was first with the correct answer. And that would be Zavir. All right, 3,000 grams. All right, 3,000. Remember, you have 1,000 grams in a kilogram. So if you have 3 kilograms, then that means it would be 3 times 1,000, which is 3,000. All right. I soon give you a very technical question at the end of the day. Not technical, but a little bit more work that you would have to do to answer that question. All right, so here's another volume. Remember, I explained how to find volume. Volume is length times width times height, okay? So that's the formula. We now have a cube. And for those who don't know, the cube would have square faces, okay? So a cube has sides of 6 centimeters. What is its volume? A cube has sides of 6 centimeters. What is its volume? A cube has sides of 6 centimeters. What is its volume? Remember, length times width times height. Length times width times height. So if the length or the side is 6 centimeters, what would be the volume? All right, so I see some correct answers coming through. 216 centimeters cube. All right, so remember it's not 6 plus 6 plus 6. 6 times 6 is 36. Then you multiply that by 6 again. That gives you 216. All right, so volume is length times width times. I did give you the formula. I told you. Length times width times height. So you have to multiply 3 things. Length times the width. When you get the answer, you multiply that by the height. All right, so let's do one more. Since you guys get in the hang of the volume thing, so after today, you should know how to calculate volume. Let's do one more volume question. A water tank measures 10 meters by 4 meters by 2 meters. Okay, so the water tank measures 10 meters by 4 meters by 2 meters. What is its volume? 10 by 4 by 2. Ten by 4 by 2. Right, the correct answer, 80 centimeters cube, right? 10 times 4, that's 40. 40 times 2, that's 80. Okay, so you can't say you don't know about volume after today. So think about volume in terms of, say you have a swimming pool, right? The swimming pool would have the length and the width, but you also want to know how deep, right? The height of it. So how much water or how much was the capacity? How much can it hold? All right, so just think of it in that way. Even though water would be measured in centimeters, but because that's not liquid, but still the same principle applies. All right, so let's go to one more math question. All right, let me see. I'm going to come out of that section for now and just go back to some regular math. Addition. Here's an addition question. Everybody should be able to add. Everybody should be able to add. What is 456 plus 289? 456 plus 289. 456 plus 289. 456 plus 289. So where are my grade 4 students? You should be able to answer this one now. Where's, okay. I don't see, where's the grade 4 students with this one and the grade 5? Oh, you want the number? All right, let me put the number in the chat. 876 477 4950. All right, let me put that number in the chat. I wonder if I can pin that number at the top. Okay, so that's the number. All right, you send a message to that. All right, so here's another math question. Here's another math question. Name two angles, two types of angles that are less than a straight angle. Why it scare you? That's the number. Somebody was asking about the number so they can talk to me about joining classes. All right. So name two angles that are less than a straight angle. All right. So right angle, acute angle, acute and obtuse, acute and right angle. Okay, that is correct. That is correct. So who was first? Danica. I think that was Danica. Danica was first with that one. Okay, let me try another one. Let me try another one. Percent. What did I do the percent with today? Yesterday or sometime? All right, I did percent with somebody. So let me ask a percentage question. Easy one. Easy one. Convert this fraction. It's a fraction. I'm going to ask you to convert it to percentage. A half to percentage. That's an easy question. All right. 1/2. 1/2. What percentage is that? Okay. All right. Yes, 50%. So you'd have done 1/2, multiply that by 100, and then that would have given you 50%. Okay. See? Even though I said just measurement, I'm trying to mix it up as much as I can. So that was that. All right, let's see if I can ask another ability test question. Let's see. If north is behind you, listen to this question. If north is behind you, which direction are you facing? If north is behind you, which direction are you facing? Okay, good, 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 good. Who was first with that one? I think Danielle. Is that you? No, not Danielle. That was Danica. All right, Danica was first with that one. All right, so let me see if I can find one more ability test question. One more. What comes next? I'm going to give you a series of numbers. You're going to tell me what's next. 4, 8, 16. What's next? So 4, 8, 16. What's next? That was quick. That was quick. The correct answer is 32. So each number is doubled, right? We multiply it by 2 to get the next in the series. So 4 to then 8. So we multiply 4 by 2 to get 8. We multiply 8 by 2 to get 16. So we're going to multiply 16 by 2. And that gives us 32. So the correct answer is 32. 32. All right, let's see if I can find another one. And these ability test questions are too easy now. But next week, I'm going to get some super hard ones. You guys going to have to think real deep to be able to answer them. And maybe I'll have to put them on the screen so you can actually see them because, yeah, I want you guys to be able to be completely ready for your exams. All right, let's see. Where are the questions? If today is Monday, what day was it 2 days ago? If today is Monday, what day was it 2 days ago? If today is Monday, what day was it 2 days ago? The correct answer is Saturday. Saturday. If today is Monday, 2 days ago, it would be Saturday. Azale, be careful with your typing. Be nice. Okay, so back to some mathematics. Okay, back to some mathematics. And let's go to we don't want any swearing here, okay? So I don't know what's the problem, but I just want to be nice. All right, so let's go. Listen to this one. A square playground has sides of 4 meters. What is its area? I didn't say you were just yet. I'm just asking you to be careful so we don't go there. All right, so a square playground has sides of 12 meters. What is its area? A square playground has sides of 4 meters. What is its area? What did I say? Am I giving the right thing? Because I'm seeing some answers. Let me just say it again. Because I don't know if you guys heard me correctly. So just scratch. All right, we're starting over. Not looking at any of the answers that you guys have. Let me read the question again. Let me read the question again. Okay, a square. All right, don't type anymore because I'm going to ask the question again. A square playground has sides of 12 meters. What is its area? A square playground has sides of 12 meters. What is its area? Okay, so remember, area is length times width. If it's a square playground, that means all the sides will have the same length. So 12 times 12 is 144 centimeters squared. Okay, so maybe that might have been my mistake. Didn't read the question correctly, or perhaps I used the wrong number the second time around, but it was 12 meters. That was the question. That was what I'm looking at. I'm not sure what I had said. All right, let's go to another time question. Let's see what time it is. All right, listen carefully now. Listen carefully. A bus leaves at 2:35. A bus leaves at 2:35 p.m. and arrives at 4:05 p.m. How long is the journey? A bus leaves at 2:35 p.m. and arrives at 4:05 p.m. How long is the journey? How long is the journey? The bus leaves at 2:35 p.m. and arrives at 4:05 p.m. How long is the journey? All right, waiting for some of you to finish doing your calculations. 2:35 arrives at 4:05. All right, so Kiana is still answering the previous question. Kiana, you need to find where we are. You're a little bit behind. So when you hear this message, just skip along, okay? All right, so the bus leaves at 2:35 p.m. and arrives at 4:05 p.m. How long is the journey? The correct answer, let me see who was first with this one. Let me scroll back to see who was first with this one. And that is Danica. All right, 1 hour 30 minutes. So remember from 2:35 to 3:35 would have been 1 hour. And then from 3:35 to 4:05, that's another 30 minutes. So the correct answer is 1 hour 30 minutes. 1 hour. So at 4:05, we would not have been at 2 hours yet, right? For us to get at 2 hours, it would have had to be 4:35. All right, so from 2:35 to 3:35, 1 hour. And then from 3:35 to 4:05, that's 30 minutes. So it's 1 hour, 30 minutes. All right, so those who are not sure about time, all the grades get questions on time. So make sure you practice. Whether you're in grade 4, grade 5, or grade 6, you're going to have to learn how to do time. Yes, I did say 4:05. It starts at 2:35. So 2:35 to 3:35, that's 1 hour, and then another 30 minutes. Okay, I see the message from Nadisha. Who was that again? Okay, yes. All right, I saw the message on my phone. All right, so let's go to another question. Now, guys, we are wrapping up. We're almost at the end of today's session. Next week, let me tell you from now what the main topic. I still ask questions from other things, but the main topic next week will be fractions. And I think I started fractions with my grade 4 students, so at least everybody should know fractions. All right, so by next Saturday, we will still be continuing with fractions, so know your fractions. All right, types of fractions, how to change from one to the next, equivalent fractions, how to add fractions, subtract fractions, multiply fractions, divide fractions, okay? That's what we'll be doing next week. So the main topic next week, fractions for mathematics. So that means you'll know what to study for. Study upon fractions. If you're not sure, try to find some information. How do you add fractions with unlike denominators? How do you subtract? How do you multiply fractions, divide fractions, find equivalent fractions, change from mixed numbers to improper, and so on. You have to tell me, give me an example of a proper fraction, improper fraction. So all things fraction next week. Practice your fractions so that you are ready to answer the questions come next week, okay? Fractions next week. I'll still ask you some other types of questions, but the main questions will come from fractions. Okay. Let me ask this question. What does it mean to use one stone to kill two birds? Use one stone to kill two birds. What do you think that means? Do what one time? Right? I don't know if you've ever heard your parents say they're going to use one stone to kill two birds. What does that mean? Do one at a time, one throw, two hits. What that mean? No, it doesn't mean to hurt the birds, Nikila. All right, so it means that one action will have more than one result, okay? So when you do one thing, you're using one action to take care of more than one thing, okay? So that's what it means. Yes, multitask, right? So using one stone, right? Doing one thing, and that will help to get results in more than one thing. All right, to achieve two goals at once, right? So many different ways to say the same thing, right? To achieve two goals, right, at once, right? With one action, you're able to complete two things. Okay, so it's like you're doing this one thing now, where you are watching this live, right? So this is the one stone right now, and you're getting practice in your language arts and also your mathematics, right? So you're getting practice with both language arts and mathematics. So you're in essence using one stone to kill two birds. Okay? All right. Thank you, Razil. Thank you for that. Yes, tap up the screen. All right. So one bird, sorry, one stone to kill two birds. All right. Let's see. So you have to learn about those popular sayings as well. All right. Let's go back to another math question. Another math question. A bottle holds 750 milliliters. A bottle holds 750 milliliters. Listen carefully to the question. All right, so Tyndall, Kofi, that's the number on the screen right there. You can ask your questions there. I mean, I can tell you, but any other question you may have in terms of the schedule and all of that, we can send to the WhatsApp. All right, so each class is $3,000 for the month. So for mathematics, then that's 3,000 for the month. If you want to do the language arts, then it's $3,000 for the month. Not expensive, not expensive at all. All right, so let's go to this question. 750 milliliters of juice. That's what one bottle holds. How many milliliters are in 4 bottles? So a bottle holds 750 milliliters of juice. How many milliliters are in 4 bottles? Hi, is that, I see a name there, not sure. MC, SVITE, or SVLTE. I'm not even sure what I'm seeing. All right, so Janae not even stressing, she just answering. All right, so one bottle holds 750 milliliters of juice. How many milliliters are in four bottles? The answer is 3,000 milliliters. Or who can answer that in liters? How many liters of juice? Who can convert that quickly and tell me how many liters of juice? Oh, Xavier, okay. How many liters for 3,000? No, Italian, not 30,000, right? Not 30,000. It would have been 3,000. It would have been 3,000, so it's 3 liters, okay? Because remember, you have 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. So if it's 3,000 milliliters, that would give you 3 liters of juice. All right, so wrapping up, guys, we are now at 6:27. So we finish in a few minutes. Let's go back to our language arts question. We haven't done that one in a while. Haven't done that one in a while. Okay, let's see. Here's an easy one. Grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, you can answer this one. It doesn't get easier than this. It does not get easier than this language arts question. So if I don't see all 25 people who are on the live right now typing this answer, then something is definitely wrong. Every single person should be able to answer this question. It's just a matter of who will answer first. But you all should be able to answer this question. Here we go. What do we call a naming word? What do we call a naming word? Come on, let me see everybody answer this one. Ah! And I thought it was going to be so easy. I thought everybody was going to get this. Who's a lucky grip? Oh boy. The correct answer is known. No. The answer is known. So remember we said a noun is a naming word? Come on, guys. We all know that a noun is a naming word. We all know that. A noun is a naming word. What's a verb? Answer that one quickly. I'm not even going to look. What's a verb? Answer that one quickly, quickly, quickly. I'm not even looking at the screen. What's a verb? All right, because Madison typing all those things, it took a long time to type in, Madison. You're typing all those words. Took a very long time. All right. So action word, right? A verb is an action. So we look at a verb in a sentence. We're looking for the action word. Okay, the word that tells the action. Easy, no, because I don't want some of my grade 4 students to think, oh, all the questions are hard. No, they're not all hard. I'm trying to make sure that we all get to participate and participate well. All right. Let me ask another question, another language arts question, and we're finished with language arts and we end with a math question, okay? So one more. Here's a not so easy one, but you all should be able to answer this one. Which, right? So what punctuation mark shows ownership? What punctuation mark shows ownership? What punctuation mark shows ownership? What? What am I seeing? Who's showing me an exclamation? The apostrophe, that shows ownership, shows that something belongs to somebody. So if the person is John, then I say it is John's book. So I'll use that apostrophe S, all right? So that shows that the book belongs to John. All right, let me ask two mathematics questions. One easy, one a little bit more challenging, because I want these questions, everybody should be able to answer the first one. So one easy maths question. Let me find an easy maths question that everybody should be able to answer, and then a little bit more challenging question. All right, let's go. This one, easy maths question. What is 900 plus 500? 900 plus 500. That's easy. 900 plus 500. 900 plus 500. Easy. Next week, we're not going, as I said, we're doing fractions. The fractions are going to be, some might be hard, some might be easy, but all things fraction next week. So write that topic down, get ready with your, because I know fraction for most of you is an issue. So we're going to do some fraction questions next week. So yes, the correct answer is 1,400. Let me see who was first with this one. And that was Zavir. All right, Zavir, you were first with this one. All right, and let me see all those who are answering. All right, yes, I'm seeing the correct answer. See, that one, everybody should know that one. All right, a little bit more of a challenge, and this is a final question. So let me see who's going to answer this final question correctly. I go listen to the question carefully. Listen carefully to the question. All right, this is the final question of the evening. Let's go. Final question of the evening. It's going to be a little bit challenging, but not too much, and almost anybody should be able to answer it just the same. But listen, it's a little bit tricky, so just listen carefully. The perimeter of a square is 36 centimeters. Find its area. So listen carefully now. Don't just rush to answer. Think about what I'm asking. The perimeter of a square is 36 centimeters. Find its area. So the perimeter is 36 centimeters. Find its area. All right. Kiana, you're cooked. No, Kiana, you're not cooked. All right. You're just stewed. But that's being cooked anyways. All right. So, let me see. The correct answer. That's okay. I think that's Antoine. Keep agreeing. That's Antoine. Okay. Antoine, welcome. All right. So, the correct answer is 81 centimeters squared. So remember, if the perimeter of the square is 36 centimeters, that means that each side is 9 centimeters, right? So how do we find the area then? We multiply 9 times 9. 9 times 9 is 81 centimeters squared, all right? 81, Dwayne, not 86, 81. So if this perimeter is 36, that means all four sides are equal. We divide 36 by 4. That gives us 9. But then the formula for area is length times width. So 9 times 9 is 81. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Come next week, we'll do some more of this. And remember to invite your friends so that we can have a good time together, okay? And we all learn together. All right, guys. See you next week. Bye-bye. Oh, and those who have homework for me, please remember to send the homework. Thank you very much.